Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU, and welcome back to my Vodyani playthrough / tutorial. We are back, and there are a few things, as there always are, that I need to mention before I get down to the nitty-gritty of preparing for a secondary offensive against the Cravers. Now, the first thing is about the force truce mechanic, which I did talk a bit about in the last video. But there is something I didn't quite make clear on that, and that is the fact that, well, yes, the force truce mechanic will be changed, but it is still going to stay in the game, right? So it's still going to be something that you have to deal with. And how do you deal with it when it does hit you? I mean, we are not sure yet how exactly it's going to work once it is changed, but let's assume it's some sort of similar-ish, but it's less prone to abuse. So let's assume we are hit by hit truce and that after the enemy is capable of using it, the effects are more or less the same. So what do we do next? How do we avoid getting a force truce to begin with? Well, there are a few ways. The most obvious one probably being coming from the fact, no, let's try and say that again because I completely botched up my English right there. Let's try it again. One of the simplest way to avoid the force truce mechanic in its entirety is, well, something like this. Let's take care, get rid of public 3D printing and just click, don't stop clicking. Yeah, it should be about it. I gotta change it, build order at some point probably. Anyway, so it's kind of fairly simple actually. The concept behind it is simple, and you can only execute it if your economy is at least somewhat semi-decent. In our case, it is because we're Vodyani. We have in Federation, we have several things that improve our industry production, such as our governor, such as everything else that we've been building up to this point, so we can make bigger fleets, bigger armies, and if necessary, a secondary mothership can help us with the cost of maintaining such an army. Then what you do is send those armies to multiple systems and you invade them all at once and capture them all in the same turn. And that is exactly what we're gonna do. Of course, this does mean that we're gonna lose our essence gathering mechanic. Let's try and say that again. It does mean that we will not be able to harvest essence once we kill the enemy, but we don't have to kill the enemy instantly. We can wait a turn or two or three even, get the essence we need, and then wipe out the entire race in an instant, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. Of course, I'm gonna stop the ship production mechanic once I get access to the Graviton Shield laboratories and make those as quickly as possible because I really do need to have some extra science income in order to improve my warfare ever so slightly. So that's the first thing on the ordeal. Secondly, let's just not watch this battle at all because there's no point in doing so. Yep, no point whatsoever. Actually, I shouldn't have improved it, that was stupid. Maybe I would have done some damage. What kind of weapons did... Nah, they have medium weapons as well, they would have killed me. No matter what. Let's see, here leveled up, so let's take care of that real quick. More science. Like I said, we do need some science, and this lady has what we need, so that's absolutely lovely. Ships, well, they need to be... The tasks need to be re-performed, or requeued rather, is the better way of putting it, phrasing it I suppose. And I know there is one more thing I was supposed to talk about, but I do want to wait until we have a battle of some sort in order to talk about it, because then I can talk about it with some kind of nice cinematic in the background, so hopefully I'll remember it. But just in case I don't know, I'll just have to try and remember it. In the meantime, there is also one more thing I need to do, and that's probably before queuing up the production of those guiders, and that is to edit the wheel a little bit, which is something I didn't do up until this point. But now that since I know that the war with the Cravers is going to end relatively short-ish, I want to know what other threats or other potential victims to be killed await me in the future, and the best way of checking just that is to have ourselves a little scouting ship that will tell me just that. That will enable me to find out sorry, that will let me find out what kind of dangers I need to get rid of. So let's make a dedicated scanner and an engine, and this ship would be good enough to check whatever dangers lie ahead. And actually, it's kind of hard to tell with this minimap, but have I sent a probe in this direction? I haven't, have I? Strange, why did I not do that? Maybe I didn't have the ship for that. I suppose that might be the way. Anyway, let's go ahead and put the new wheel up to the stack and set it to scout out for new constellations to invade. And I'm gonna do that by clicking Alt and pressing what? Oh no, never mind. That's the wrong key binding. Sorry. Tab and wheel. No. Control. And they changed the key binding, didn't they? Crying out loud. It used to be that whenever you press Alt, you change your build order. The way you add things to build order, so that if you press Alt, they go to the top. But I guess that's no longer the case. Shift? No. Oh well. That's a little bit annoying, but I can't figure out how to put this guy on the top of the queue, so I'll just do it this way. I don't know how I've clicked so many times. Now, in order to make my fleet faster, I could also buy out all those ships, but I can only buy out, what, like 2 of them? I don't know how much money I have exactly, unless it does say exactly 1.5. Yeah, I suppose that's what it says. Either way, I can't buy out too many of them, 2 most likely. Is the answer. In fact, it costs, what, 700? So I'm pretty sure that's exactly 2. So anyway, let's end the 10. As we wait for some more interesting things to happen and to commentate on. And I do still remember there's this one little thing I was supposed to talk about, which I was strangely mysterious about. But I was waiting for something, you know, like I said, exciting to happen, to talk over. Unfortunately, we may have to wait a little bit longer before we have a fight. So I'm kind of tempted to talk about it in between turns, because right now there's really much I'm going to do. I'm just gonna go ahead and create those gouges and send them closer to the enemy territory so that the moment I'm ready, I will attack the enemy. And actually, hold on a second, there's a wheel here that's not supposed to be part of this fleet. So let's change that. And you say, can you get over there? He can, surprisingly enough. How are you going to get there? Let's have a quick look at the route. Oh, he's going. Oh no! That was taking an intergalactic route through the middle of the map until it reaches Gurkha. I mean, it does allow the ship to ignore the fact that it's not supposed to pass through the enemy's borders, but at the same time, it's going to take forever. Although maybe it won't be that long. 7 turns? Yeah, it's actually pretty long. I'll have to make another wheel later on. That's a bit annoying. Also, by the way, I did forget to mention that in any of my other videos, but if you want to know how long it's going to take for your ships to get somewhere, all you have to do is hold right mouse button, and it shows you how long it's going to take for your ships to get to anywhere, which is a pretty handy feature if you ask me. And you can then let go of right mouse button, hovering at the system where your ships are at, and nothing will happen, which again is a very nifty mechanic. I wish there was just a number between each a connection between each star systems that would tell you how long this connection is. It's something I asked the devs to implement, but it seems like they haven't yet, and they might never implement it in the end. I wish they did though. Anyway, let's end the 10. Again, not much to do, except we do have an IO system. That's our new system, isn't it? It's gonna grow in 110, and what do we want to have in here? Siri Reality is going to help us a little bit with science production, so can't say no to that. What else do I want and or need? Having extra production? I mean, that's will allow me to make some science producing improvements a little bit faster, but alternatively, I can get this thing instantly. Or I could not do that. You know what, I have extra dust to spare. Might as well get all of the science production improvements as quickly as humanly possible, because I do want to get my science booming as quickly as possible as well, so let's do just that. Alright, next turn, if my memory doesn't fail me, I should be ready to actually officially declare war on the Great... What was that? I hate it when... That was, by the way, you probably didn't hear it, but it was my computer cracking. And I hate it when it does, because I feel like something is breaking inside of it, which probably there is. I mean, technically speaking there is, because of the temperature differences. But with there another hero ready for recruitment, whoa, I didn't expect a new hero to be ready this quickly. So, we don't really have anybody who could be any motherships that any hero could, you know, govern, but we're about to get one. So we can think about it that way, get a hero that will allow us, that will be a good system governor. But what is that? Any fleet detected? Yep, alright, not a big problem. It's just a slicer. A single slicer is not exactly threatening or menacing. So, what hero do I want for my fleet? 2 of them are industrialists, and what kind of parties am I supporting so far with my hero? Ecologist, scientist... Why is there no militarist ever? That's a bit annoying, but I guess that's how it's gonna have to be, huh? Alright, well, 2 industrialists, 1 religious. I don't want to boost the religious part, like I said, so this guy is definitely a no-go. Also, he's a carbon copy of one of the heroes I already have. This guy is a scavenger. Scavengers are kind of fun to use, and I like it for that reason. He's also a guardian, but guardian is not exactly what I need right now. A Craver and the Seeker gives me a little bit more versatility. Seeker gives me science, Craver gives me both industry and food production, so he's kind of the best. He kind of does, he's a jack of all trades is what I'm getting at. And same goes with his skill mastery. I can go for whatever I want. I think I'm gonna go for a Craver, thank you very much. And I will not employ him to do anything whatsoever until I actually do need him. Although I could make him my admiral until I actually make him my governor. This way he'll be able to assist in combat if necessary, and he's also going to gain some experience. And yes, I will have to pay some extra dust for him, but I have plenty of dust income, so I probably won't care. But I'll check that in a second. Anyway, what kind of skills do I want? Well, for newly made battleship, I'll probably want to have the extra food that he can provide with, me as a Craver. I'll definitely want to have the extra science that he can provide me as well, because, you know, science is kind of awesome. Although I may not have cold planets, but no, still, science is more important to me than bonus per population point, I think. So yeah, I'll make him like so. Although there's absolutely no reason for me to set the skills right now, since he's not gonna be a governor. So it's better to wait and see if I find places with a lot of cold planets, or maybe a place with a lot of easily colonizable planets, because that might change the way I think about optimal operations expert. It probably won't, but still, no reason not to wait. It's better to wait when you can wait. Anyway, let's create a new fleet and another one. Select all of them and move over here. Now, can I declare war on the Cravers yet? I thought that our first truce is supposed to end by now, but no, I was apparently wrong. It's going to end in 0 turns, so I guess next turn. That seems to be the case. Well, the important thing is, I can first of all heal this fleet because it's damaged and there is no reason for it to be damaged. And I can start moving into Sing because it's technically speaking not within the enemy's borders. The very edge of the system is outside of the enemy borders, which apparently means that it's not within the enemy's borders, which is kind of hilarious if you ask me. But whatever, this formality is going to help us immensely. When I say immensely, it's not going to help us a great deal, but it will speed up the conquest of the enemy system slightly. Although they have just colonized Yisel, which is going to be a nuisance to say the least. Still, 4 ships should take care of newly established colony pretty quickly if you ask me. Same goes with Muses, so I'll just send 3 fleets over there to Alien, Muses and Yisel. 1 fleet for each of those systems should do just fine. Friedrichs and Kilfi, I don't know. Both of these are going to require a bit more ships in order to be taken over quickly, but we are gonna work on that just fine. I'm still getting a good amount of dust income, so I can definitely assign my new hero to some kind of fleet somewhere, and I cannot do it far away from my territory, but I can do it to a fleet. Oh wait, those fleets are in transit, so I cannot actually assign a hero to them at all. Forget about that little detail. Oh well, doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter that much if you assign this hero so early or not. It's only a few points of experience per turn. It's not that big of a deal for level 4 hero, although obviously it helps. That's why I wanted to have him be a governor of something in the first place. No, sorry mate, I cannot assign you to anything. We're out of jobs for you. It's a shame, I know, but that's how it's gonna be. Anyway, let us see how this turn ends. And drink some more water because my throat is parched. So 1 second. Also, can I not declare war on the enemy yet? Oh. That's a problem, ladies and gentlemen, because it looks like we bugged the game. And I cannot declare war on this guy. Ever. Whew, that is a problem. For the time being, unless it fixes itself, which I'm really hoping for, I'm going to focus on other empires and conquer them instead, and leave Cravers for last. This is going to be my temporary solution. If, by the end of the game, the Cravers still have this bug which prevents me from declaring war on them, then I'll simply switch my government into a religious government, which will allow me to invade the enemy systems without actually declaring war on them. Which is, by the way, the very thing I was meaning to talk about. It's something that one of my subscribers mentioned, I believe it was 2 videos ago, Firstly, let's give this guy... well, who's this guy? It's my governor, right? Yeah, I could give him more happiness. Yeah, let's do that. I definitely want people to be hostile against me, so no reason to give me authoritarian leadership. But authoritarian leadership is part of the comment that one of my subscribers made. So basically, he said that, well, if you have a religious government and you also have authoritarian governorship, or whatever it was called, on your senator, and this guy is always your senator by default, then it means you can attack the enemy and it's very hard for the enemy to strike back. And I have to say to the person who made that comment, well, that is very true. And that is the case. However, as useful as this ability may be when it comes to forcing the enemy to use more influence and things of this nature, I really do believe the Spoils of War Act to be essential for you. Because like I said, right now you may not feel it because we're fighting against endless AI that has not been quite fully implemented. It's not very smart yet. So it may feel like we're always rich. It doesn't matter if we have a lot of science or not. But as the game gets more and more developed, more and more advanced, and once it inevitably gains multiplayer, I'm betting that you will need to have the extra bonus from the Spoils of War Act in order to stay competitive with other people. That is my honest opinion. And yes, it is true that while you are while you're not at war with somebody and you do not have the religious government, you cannot drain assets from people, from stuff. But I mean, like I said, you could do it the way that the subscriber mentioned. Obviously, it's a good tactic. But my tactic is also, as you can see, working quite well. And it doesn't require you to have too many motherships. I mean, I'm just swarming the enemy with all the motherships I have. And if you have too many motherships, then you actually start having those approval problems that I was talking about before. Obviously, approval problems can get dealt with, but we're dealing with our entire research tree, rather developing our entire research tree in a way that allows us to completely and utterly ignore approval penalties. So changing the strategy, yes, it is an option. It is an alternative strategy that I would also say is good. I just personally like my own better. But yes, the other one is also definitely an applicable good strategy that you could use. So do feel free to use that and abuse that to your liking. Keep in mind, when you're fighting against endless AI in this current version of the game, it's still going to declare war on you no matter what, a few turns after it has discovered you, and you will not avoid it even if you go for this tactic. So right now I would say it's not very useful, but in the future it's gonna be more useful. Anyway, so there's that done, and well, since we have this game officially and royally bugged, I guess there is nothing else to do but to move my ships out of here, because I actually literally cannot attack the enemy, which is a bit of a problem. So let's get to Gerka, get anything I can to Gerka, and make those guys stay here, I suppose, for the time being, just in case the Cravers actually do declare war on me, which would be awesome, but I don't think it will be this stupid, not with me having so many ships. And let's make a few gouges, you know, just a few more because I like them. And the public 3D printing. And then I guess I'll hope that the Cravers declare war on me, but if they don't, I'll just have to, improvise, I suppose. And it looks like it's a good thing that the Zoo decided to make it a long way to Gerka, because he wouldn't be able to pass through this territory anyway. Man, bugs can be annoying. To think that Cravers would be dying by now. I even made a promise in the last video that Cravers would die in this video, but it looks like they just had to prove me. Okay, apparently 0 turns means 2 turns. Good to know. Game loves trolling me. Okay, let's get back to coffee with everything. No, oh no, this fleet, I thought it's going to Sima and then to Lyra and then to Gerka, but no, it's actually going all the way to Gerka already. I cannot stop it. Also, Gerka, I cannot help but notice it has an outpost, a rival outpost of a faction I haven't even met yet. Okay then, and obviously those are the Lumeris, but still. Oh wow, Antreus has an outpost too. Well, I suppose I will be able to kill something with my ships over there, but it's gonna be a little bit awkward, won't it? Huh. Oh well. Now, I could declare war on my enemy right away, but, I mean, you know, sure, why not? It will allow me to move a little bit more freely, so let's go ahead and do that, and create a new army. It will invade the enemy and do what my old army was supposed to do. So, war declared, I can move freely again. heroes leveled up, so that's all nice and dandy. I could use a little bit of food, sure. Let's go ahead and grab that on my science producing hero, and let's give my army commander Holy Boost. He's only level 2 or 3 actually. That's really pathetic. That really is. Anyway, let's level him up, as useless as he is. I probably need to hire a new one just to make him a little bit better than what I have right now. Anyway, extreme composites will be done in the next stand, then I'll start making some actual really decent ships. In the meantime, however, I'll have to make do with what I have, so you guys, you're gonna go ahead and go to sing for the time being, and you guys are gonna guard volants just in case the Cravers actually come for me and try to kill me. Now, as for those fleets, I'm gonna do exactly what I mentioned earlier, and I'm gonna go ahead and send one to Yizo, I'm gonna send one to Muses, and the last one is going to kill this pesky little ship that thinks I didn't notice it. Oh, don't worry, I noticed it. And then I'm gonna send it to Elion. Actually, now that I think about it, I should do it the other way around. I'm gonna move... Let's see, this... Now I'll let those two guys get to use our Muses because those systems are quite far away. And then I'll use this guy to not go to Elion but to go to Friedrich's already, because this system is going to take a while to whittle down to up to a point where I can actually invade it and take it over, so better start working on it as quickly as possible. That's also the reason why I'll send those guys to kill Phi, and you're not actually gonna get volants, you're gonna go straight to Elion, nice and easy. That leaves Lyra completely empty, with no fleet assigned to destroy it, but I guess this will have to wait until I'm done with extreme composites, because I want to upgrade my fleet once and for all. Alright, you say I could go for Holy Proliferation on you, but that's pointless. I want a better arc first and foremost. So let's take care of that. What else do we have? An Usher Museum. That would be useless because I have nothing to do with my Empire influence. But sure, let's get it just for laughs and giggles. And wow, it almost sounded I'm starting a love theme from some kind of music. Music? What is a music? Movie, I wanted to say. Oh, well, whatever. And what do I want to make next on this system? There isn't actually much I want. Let's go for like 3D printing for the time being. As for Giza, look at Giza. It has so much population. It's so powerful and amazing. Wow, it's one powerful system. It reminds me. Basically, whenever I play as the Vodyani, I feel like I'm playing the cultists from Endless Legend, except I'm not limited to one city, which is really a nice feeling, let's just put it this way. Anyway, let's drink some more water as I'm trying to restart the offensive against the Cravers, which has ended in a rather amusing way. Or rather, not ended, but came into a halt for temporarily. The enemy is sitting at Scavenger that they will not be able to intercept. That's annoying, but oh well. Let me drink some water. Also, I forgot to assign hero to my ships. That's annoying. But what I could do, actually, let me drink. Oh. I can create a fleet with my hero and send it create it in my main system and use just my hero alone to guard Volanus. Trust me, even though his ships is unupgraded, he's going to be more than powerful enough to destroy. I mean, maybe not necessarily destroy a scout, but within a single combat, but within a few turns, definitely. Alright, how is the pool going? Well, with as many ships as I made, the militaries are fine the lead, which is good. In fact, if I don't necessarily even need to worry about making militaries more powerful, it wouldn't help me in any way, shape or form. What I should focus on is potentially unlocking some other political party, although there isn't really much point in doing that either, to be entirely honest, and except for the fact that it will allow me to get another senator in, but again, that doesn't give me... I don't really have too many incentives to do that right now, because my heroes are not really leveled up all that much, and don't have the ability to let me benefit from having a good senator. Anyway, I believe that's all for this time. Let's go ahead and end it. Alright. We're lucky in battles this video. I know, I'm disappointed myself. I played the game. But there isn't much we can do, and also dear time, please finish a little bit faster. Now, I am downloading something in the background, so that maybe it's slowing down the turn time a little bit, but I don't think it should be. Maybe it's just because there are a lot of things to do. But don't worry, the moment I murder all the Cravers, the turns are going to process way faster, so it's gonna be good. Anyway, something happened. Oh, uneven ended, so less science for me, which is a little bit unfortunate. And ooh, the enemy has a butcher. We're gonna have some resistance to deal with. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. We can kill people. The problem is, I want to watch a battle, but I need to have something to talk about while the battle is going on, so that it's not just, you know, meaningless chatter. So give me a second and I'll think of a topic. It's an important topic we can discuss while watching Carnage. Alright, it took me way too long, but I figured out a good topic to talk about, and that is what to do when the enemy goes for this type of setup, with kinetic weapons and missiles to back it up, because it's a pretty good mix that I imagine a lot of people will use further in the game once we get into multiplayer phase as well. It's a fairly versatile but powerful combo, simple but effective, good and efficient, and all the other objectives I could think of. Anyway, as for our battle setup, obviously we have ships that optimize for short range. We want to get we want to engage the enemy as quickly as humanly possible. The only problem is that the enemy is a sniper, almost certainly going to go for a sniper setup, but we literally have to be able to attack the enemy as quickly as possible, so interlock seems to be the only option we have to find the enemy, and let's try and make it count, although I don't really have too high hopes for my fleet, because the enemy's fleet should do pretty well against mine, because they now have access to missiles. My ship shouldn't necessarily do too horribly poorly, but we're at the point where the enemy is going to trade favorably from here on out. So let's go ahead and start the fight. And as we watch the carnage, which will inevitably happen, we're gonna discuss the two strategies, I mean two out of many obviously, but two of the most obvious strategies that let you deal with this kind of setup the enemy is running right now. So when the enemy goes for missiles and kinetics, what does it mean? Well, it means that the enemy can snipe you from far away and has a good protection against your missiles if you decide to counter the enemy with your own missiles. And additionally, the enemy is also not completely defenseless in middle and close range. So, you know, you can try to go for the same setup as the enemy, but that's obvious for any strategy ever. Or you can try to mix things up and try to counter the enemy. How do you counter the enemy in this case? The way I said, you have two options. You can either go for mutually assured destruction, or you can try to go for a sniper kind of setup and try to maximize your fleet effectiveness while disallowing the enemy's ships to be used to their full potential. Now, in this playthrough, I'm going to use this latter tactic, but what is the first tactic that I mentioned? Ow, that hurt. That's a lot of missiles that keep continuously hitting my ships. Please, Commander Director, stay here. Alright, that looked nice. Oh, yeah. I don't know why I enjoy this as much as I am, but I like watching things blow up. Anyway, the mutually assured destruction strategy should be kind of obvious to you. So first of all, you upgrade the Goulders. Once you upgrade the Goulders, they get extra weapons, and once they get extra weapons, what do? You have two of your weapons be kinetic weapons. Why? Because you need that many of them to relatively reliably negate the enemy's missile attacks, because as you can see, those missiles are just hammering my ships, because missiles are kind of terrifying. And that was just one ship with missiles firing at my fleet, and look at how much damage it dealt to all my ships. So you need two sets of kinetic weapons on each of your Goulders, and then as your final weapon, yes, you need to keep your beam or laser. I can never remember which one it is. The weapon I have currently installed right here on this spot, in order to deal damage once you actually do get in range with the enemy. What does it mean? It means that you'll be able to out-DPS any enemy fleet that gets close to you, like you can see right now. I mean, the amount of damage we're dealing is humongous. We're just tearing that big ship to shreds. And it also gives your ships protections from the missiles, which in this case dealt a lot of damage to my fleet. So if I were to do that one thing, my fleet would be pretty devastating, and it would definitely destroy any kind of kinetic missile setup, no problems, because I would take no damage in long range, I would take very little damage in medium range because of the kinetics, and in close range, my beams, oh, how are they called again? I need to check it, sorry, it's really important. And in close range, in close range, my beams, that's how they're called, would just overpower the enemy kinetics, no problems, no questions asked. So that's one of the ways, and it's kind of far away. And in our situation, And in a situation when you outproduce your enemy in terms of industry, when you can afford to, you know, risk losing your ships as your ships are getting close to the enemy, because some casualties are probably unavoidable against a competent player, then this strategy should be pretty effective and efficient, and probably the one I would personally pick. However, in this case, I'm gonna pick the other one like a mission. And the other one requires a different kind of setup that we can already have going on for us. Now, one of the reasons why I prefer this strategy is because as the Vodyani with your faction quest, you're guaranteed to have Hyperium, and you will need Hyperium for this strategy. For the other strategy I talked about, you will need Titanium, which you're not guaranteed to get. I mean, in our case we have tons of both, but I was incredibly lucky, right? So I had the luxury of choosing both strategies if I even wanted. For you, it might not be the case. You may have to be forced to pick one of those. But let's focus on the other one, because like I said, you always have Hyperium, at least a little bit of it, and you don't really need more than a little bit of it to make a good, at least one good armada, perhaps more, depending on how lucky you get. So first of all, as for the shield ship, as you can obviously tell, it is, yeah, filled with lasers, and it's pretty good at what it does. Lasers are pretty good at shutting down the enemy strategy, which we just experienced, because they just tear the enemy ships to pieces from a good range. So you deny the enemy's kinetic-based ships from using their full potential, because you hopefully will be able to snipe them from far away, and you can do that despite the enemy kinetics. If you try to use missiles, well, then the kinetics would shoot them down, but they can shoot down lasers, and lasers, what they still do, deal a good amount of damage. Also, you will definitely need to have extra armor on this ship, because otherwise, if kinetics do start firing on your ship, then it's gonna hurt a ton. Alright? So I'm gonna apply the design changes like so. Now, what about the enemy missiles? Well, that's where the rack comes into play. Now, unfortunately, the rack only has a single kinetic weapon, which is a big drawback for the Vodyani and to this entire strategy, I admit. Because normally you would want to have more than just a single kinetic weapon on a per ship in order to provide a reliable defense against missile-based attacks. Even if you have a lot of those, and having too many of those rooks, how they call it again? Racks. In our fleet would be detrimental to our strategy, because it would limit our DPS, which is again not good. But the cool thing is, the enemy will fire some missiles at the rack itself. Those missiles will possibly not get intercepted by the kinetics, which will hopefully focus on protecting our big ships. And once the rack gets hit, well, guess what? It literally won't care because of how much armor it has. It's an incredibly tough ship, and sure, right now, because I put something on my unique slot that I unlocked with technology, I have to spend Hyperium to make a rack. But I'm not planning on making too many of those, and right now it's nigh indestructible considering how small it is. Additionally, it's also, hey, get back over here. Additionally, I can use it to leech a lot of essence from the enemy ships. So it also allows me to not have to spend dust on maintaining ships, fleets of essence gatherers. And this ship is a lot more defendable, can defend itself a lot better than essence gatherers, because of how much armor and the kind of weapon it has. And to make it even better, a single ship can harvest more essence than the other ships we've been using up until now for essence gathering purposes. So, while I admit, as your fleet escorter, rack is one of the weaker alternatives when compared to ships from other factions, or other ship designs in general, it still has some ways that it can make up for. There are still some, let's try and say this again in proper English, it can still make up for it in other ways. There. Sentence said, and it was relatively understandable. Okay, what kind of weapons do you have actually? I don't know. Inspect, ship, what do you have? You have kinetics, and missiles. So the kind of setup the enemy was using before. Okay, let's go ahead and do, well, the enemy is like short range, so let's go ahead and go for long range, because, well, it is going to give us an advantage supposedly. So let's go ahead and go into fight. And then again, the enemy is using kinetics, but I still killed the enemy because I have a hero ship, so that wasn't even a challenge. You just stay right over here. And as for my main system, let's start the production. So, right now we can only have four command points within a fleet, but we're about to extend that with improved fleet management, which is incredibly important because, I mean, +1 per whole tab on Empire, well, you can quite easily tell how much that's gonna be. Actually, how much is that gonna be? Well, it's gonna be enough so that I can have 3 of the big ships or I can have 2 of the big ships and some extra protectors. So let's go ahead and do just that. 2 shields, and not gouges, and 3 racks, and this should be a relatively defensible armada, which I'll try to increase the size of as quickly as possible, obviously, in order to actually make it more effective and efficient. I could buy it out as well to have the entire armada ready in a single turn, which is tempting enough that I'll do just so that I can invade the core enemy system a little bit faster, and then I'll make even more ships. Nice and easy. Of course, I just realized I have to wait 2 turns for my ships to be ready anyway, but I suppose that's unavoidable sometimes. Oh well. Let's see, what else do we have? Yudis says, you just keep stopping the enemy's manpower, nice and easy. Yudis says, you actually... Yeah, you are those guys are also stopping the enemy manpower. In fact, I could take over Muses right away if I wanted to, but I'm afraid that if I were to do this, the enemy would force truce on me again. So I'd rather sacrifice this fleet without capturing the enemy system than, you know, have the enemy force truce on me for destroying a meaningless system. Yudis says I'm gonna just go ahead and guard those systems, and I might as well destroy some pupa ships because, I mean, there's no reason not to do that. It gives me science, it gives me dust. It's absolutely a wonderful decision in almost every single way possible. And I believe that's all I can do with my ships in this kind of turn. Pupa ship destroyed, lovely, a little bit more dust and science for me, always good. And that's it for this turn. I can end this, I can end it right now. Oh, also, I completely forgot, new election. I mean, there isn't really much I can do. I can just keep supporting political party because why not? I don't want really just to get for some ununderstandable reason, got too far ahead. And I like militarists. They speak to my very soul. They understand my heart. So obviously I'm gonna support them. They actually didn't win by much, surprisingly enough. So I still have to support them. Strange. I swear that they had more of a support before the election started. Maybe people don't like me. Anyway. I'm gonna drink some more water, and actually, instead of doing that, actually, still do that, but this is as good a place as any to end my video. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. It was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mix Bomber. I'll see you online.